Oh my goodness. Do these pictures make you want to see more? Today, we have a first look at the new Russo brothers sci-fi hit, The Electric State. There's also new movies coming soon from the Batman universe about Robin, Deathstroke, and Bane. And unbelievable but true, a legendary giant snake is also making a comeback to the big screen. So get ready to not miss anything, as here comes the weekly KinoCheck news. Oh, and by the way, if you like this episode, we'd be delighted if lots of you shared it with your friends. Alright, that's enough chit-chat. Let's get started. One of the most expensive Netflix productions is finally gaining momentum, as first images of the Russo brothers' sci-fi blockbuster The Electric State are now finally available. For example, we see Millie Bobby Brown in the role of Michelle, who embarks on a journey to find her missing brother. She's supported by Chris Pratt in the role of Keats, a war veteran who works as a long-haul trucker. The two are joined by Herman, a mechanical construction machine with the voice of Anthony Mackie. The plot of The Electric State takes us to a post-apocalyptic world that has been almost entirely destroyed after a war between humans and machines. As a reaction to this war, humans try to live a life without technology, while the robots have been banished to an exclusion zone. In this world, our heroes must contend with the monstrous drones that have been left behind since the Big War and now roam the countryside. In an interview with Vanity Fair, director Joe Russo describes the movie as a mixture of a science fiction flick and a classic buddy comedy, and is therefore likely to deviate somewhat from the original. In addition to Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt, we'll also see Stanley Tucci, Giancarlo Esposito, Jason Alexander, and Oscar winner Ke Huy Quan, among many others. All kinds of stars are also involved in the film in dubbing roles. For example, Woody Harrelson, Billy Bob Thornton, Brian Cox, and Jenny Slate. As things stand, it can be assumed that the science fiction film will premiere on Netflix in spring 2025. It's not yet known whether the film, just like its predecessor, The Gray Man, will also be shown in movie theaters a few days before its release. The DCU is growing and growing. Deathstroke and Bane are now set to wreak havoc in a planned crossover film between the two villains. According to The Hollywood Reporter magazine, the script is to be penned by Matthew Orton, one of the writers of the upcoming Captain America: Brave New World. It's not yet known who will direct the big clash. The character Bane, created by writer Chuck Dixon and artist Graham Nolan in the 90s, was born on a fictional Caribbean island in a prison, where he perfected his brutal fighting skills and was inspired by the teachings of numerous international criminals. He eventually underwent a questionable treatment that made him incredibly strong, but also addicted to a serum. Bane became famous through the Nightfall storyline, in which he broke Batman's back. Bane has also appeared in many video games and television series, but he became particularly famous through Tom Hardy's portrayal in The Dark Knight Rises. Deathstroke, on the other hand, was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez in 1980 as a villain for the Teen Titans, and quickly became one of the most popular villains in the DC universe. Known for his strategic ingenuity and fighting skills, the masterful assassin took on Batman and the Justice League and starred in several comics. Asai Morales portrayed Deathstroke in the live-action series Titans, while Joe Manganiello made a cameo appearance as the One-Eyed Killer in Zack Snyder's DC movies. It's currently unknown when we can expect the big Deathstroke-Bane crossover. However, it's already sure to be one of the most exciting projects in the new DCU. There's news of the giant snake. A new interpretation of Anaconda starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd was announced back in August of this year. And now Daniela Melchior also joins the cast of the film. Melchior recently attracted a lot of attention for her role in Roadhouse, in which she performed alongside Jake Gyllenhaal. She was also seen in The Suicide Squad as Ratcatcher 2 and in Fast X. According to Deadline, the new Anaconda film is not a simple reboot, but rather a reinterpretation with a meta approach. Based on initial information, Jack Black will play as a former director who now works as a wedding videographer. Paul Rudd, on the other hand, will play an actor who is mourning his Hollywood dreams after his role in a police series. According to the sources, the plot revolves around a group of friends who decide to make a remake of their favorite film, Anaconda. In order to make the movie authentic, they are drawn to the Brazilian rainforest, where not only do they have to deal with the perils of the jungle, but also with criminal gangs and the eponymous giant snake. The film is directed by massive talent director Tom Gormican, who's also responsible for the screenplay. Originally, Anaconda was supposed to be filmed last year, but the project was put back due to the Hollywood strikes. A release date for the new Anaconda film has not been set yet. Ghostface returns. 3 years after Scream 6, the new chapter of the popular slasher series awaits us. The specific release date for Scream 7 has now finally been revealed. The movie will be released in the United States on February 27, 2026. This is significantly later than originally planned. At the time, it was rumored that the new part would be released just 1 year after its predecessor. There's not much to say about the film's plot yet. However, initial clues suggest that the latest installment will focus entirely on Sidney Prescott and her family. The production of Scream 7 faced massive problems in the initial stages. First, lead actress Melissa Barrera was fired due to accusations of anti-Semitism. Shortly afterwards, Jenna Ortega and director Christopher Landon also dropped out of production. However, things then started to look promising again, as Scream icon Neve Campbell announced her return. This news must have particularly pleased die-hard fans of the franchise. After all, Campbell only had a minor role in Scream 5 and didn't appear in Scream 6 at all. It seems as if they want to return to their roots. The movie is being directed by Kevin Williamson, the author of the original film series. We're excited to see in which direction the franchise will further develop. The time has finally come. Filming has begun on the eagerly awaited Peaky Blinders movie, and the first picture of Cillian Murphy has already been revealed. This was published by Netflix. Murphy can be seen in his signature role of Tommy Shelby. What particularly catches the eye is that Tommy has visibly aged. This should come as no surprise, as the Peaky Blinders film is set during the Second World War, several years after the events of the series. Alongside Murphy, we'll get to enjoy a remarkable cast. Rebecca Ferguson, Saltburn actor Barry Cogan, Tim Roth, and Jay Lycurgo have already been confirmed in as yet unknown roles. The movie will be directed by Tom Harper, known for The Aeronauts and the action thriller Heart of Stone with Gal Gadot. It's being written by Stephen Knight, the creator of the series. Filming is currently taking place in England, so a release in 2025 seems possible. There's also growing rumors that 2 Peaky Blinders spin-offs are in the works. One is set to be after the events of the main series, while the other is to be a prequel of sorts and shed light on Aunt Polly's past. There seems to be no lack of creativity at DC at the moment. The studio is developing an animated movie about Batman's faithful companion Robin, together with Warner Bros. More specifically, it's about 2 Robins, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. According to the trade magazine Deadline, they'll be at the center of an animated film called Dynamic Duo. The movie is produced by a newly founded animation studio in New Orleans called Swaybox Studios. The studio is run by Arthur Mintz and Teresa Anderson, who work with an innovative animation technique. Director Mintz is using the newly developed Momo animation. This technique combines CGI animation, practical stop motion, and live-action real-time elements. The intention is to create a unique visual style that is described as dynamic and human. It's the aim of this technique to stand out from other animation movies. The film is based on a screenplay by Matthew Aldrich and centers on the early days of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, the 2 most famous characters who fought alongside Batman as Robin. Dick Grayson, the first Robin, is one of the most recognizable characters in the DC universe and later became Nightwing. Jason Todd, in turn, was tragically killed by the Joker before returning as the Red Hood. Important to mention, Dynamic Duo is not connected to the Batman universe of Matt Reeves and his film The Batman or the Penguin series. Instead, it tells an independent story that focalizes on the development of the 2 Robins without delving deeper into the canon of current Batman portrayals. Which news did you like the most and why? Let us know in the comments and show your support by giving this video the thumbs up. We also recommend checking out the trailer for Baby Girl starring Nicole Kidman. The movie is described as an erotic thriller with a scheduled theatrical release for December 25th, 2024. Enjoy!